All right, this is video 3, and we're going to be covering my 4th best lover of my life, which is Wayne. And he was in Maui also. And I met him when I was 40. I'm 44 now. And so Wayne is one of those ones. It's kind of a one of a kind. He was like a Mad Max. He was a rock star type, total man's man, really fun, a little too wild, for long-term sustainability, but it sure was fun while it lasted. And I just actually ended that relationship because it's long distance now that I'm in San Diego, but we were, together for 3.5 years, and some of that was long distance. Actually, most of it was because I moved to San Diego 6 months after meeting him. So he was totally into me because I was the first love of his life. He knew how to fix anything, and he was a total nature boy survivor type. So he, pimped out his camper van, so we would go camping all the time to Hana and all over, and we would sleep, at the beach a lot out of his camper van right on the shoreline with this amazing view. And he was just a lot of fun. So he was also very super active like I am, so we matched that way. And he was a total workaholic. He just loved working. Like, that's all he knew how to do in a way. He was just always involved in projects. He was always helping the community. We used to joke that he was like the mayor of Kihei because, he was always the one that would help people when they needed it and stuff. And he grew up Mormon, so he's around, he was used to being around community and being of service and providing help and stuff. So, one of the things that really stood out to me about him that worked beautifully is he loved me so much, so unconditionally, that even though, 6 months into our relationship, I decided that I was feeling led to move back to the mainland. I had already been on the islands for 10 years, and I just felt like, I think there's more out there for me. I just, I'm still young. I want to go back to the mainland because I'm starting to feel stagnant. And he had kind of just arrived on the island. So, but even knowing that I was leaving, he didn't let that get in the way of helping me. Like, he helped me sell a bunch of stuff, at the garage sales I had, and made all the signs and put them up all over, and helped me pack and ship my stuff, and helped clean my apartment that I was leaving. And so I was just really impressed with his loyalty, and he didn't let that get in the way. Like, I think I would have been like, I'm too emotional about you leaving, and I just probably wouldn't have been maybe a part of all that as much as he was. But he just loved doing projects with me. So if I had something I wanted to work on, he was all over it. And of course, as a handyman type, he was very helpful. And especially towards the end, he also had strong Gemini in his chart, even though he was a Scorpio. And I'm a Pisces, by the way. The Gemini strong boyfriends that I've had, I've noticed, are really good at being more versatile, and they're really good at having lots of different positions in the bedroom. And so he was awesome at that, and especially by the time at the end of our relationship, that's something I miss for sure. And he was, definitely a rock star and well endowed and all that. So Wayne is not someone I'm going to forget easily. He used to fly me out to Maui he flew me out quite a few times, you know, after I moved to San Diego, and we'd have these amazing rendezvous. And you know, I just loved how enthusiastic he was about our relationship. He was just so into it, you know. It just totally lit him up, and he was all over it, and we just had a blast, you know, again on Little Beach a lot, at the new famous beach there, and a lot of camping and nature time. And let's see, is there anything else? I think that's pretty much it as far as Wayne goes. So let's go on to lover number 5. This would be Phil, and this was a non-sexual relationship. So I have a couple of those in my lineup, which I think is kind of cool. You know, sometimes it's more of like a companion type relationship than a sexual one, where I matched up with these partners for, you know, all these reasons, and it wasn't necessarily a sexual reason. Like that didn't necessarily match up, but a lot of other things did, and that was the case with Phil, to his disappointment. But Phil and I are best friends to this day, and we have a lot of memories of, we did a lot of traveling together, especially up and down the coast of California. He also was my biggest photographer as far as taking a lot of my pinup photo shoots, a lot of my costuming photo shoots. That was during, I guess, the first couple years of our relationship was when I was especially into the costuming and the pinup. And so thanks to him, I have an amazing portfolio that I use in my Tantra business, and that I can sell, you know, my pinup albums and stuff. Great conversationalist. We had a lot in common. We love movies. We're both foodies. We work out together. We go on like long bike rides. And you know, he was really into it. I think, you know, he was hoping that we would end up together. There's quite an age difference, though. And I think he was really trying to win me over in that process of, you know, the few years. But, you know, we just had an amazing time. And let's see if there's anything else. He's a Taurus, and I was 39 when I met him. I was still living in Maui, actually, and then he was my contact person for showing me around San Diego, and that's what kind of set the stage for me moving here, which made that transition so much easier, and I'm so grateful to him for that, because that could have been a lot rougher. And he's a very generous man. Yeah, and we were even roommates for a few months, you know, while I transitioned into San Diego.